Hey guys, today I want to talk about some things old school RuneScape gets right in terms of how the game approaches power creep when adding new content. And I want to talk about how World of Warcraft can take inspiration from some of the strategies old school RuneScape uses to limit power creep when they add new content to the game. Now obviously these are very different games, but there's still some inspiration that World of Warcraft could take with some of the strategies that RuneScape's using. So World of Warcraft's been out for 18 years, which means the game has tons and tons of content built up over all of those years. It's had 8 expansions, 9 if you count vanilla, and that means tons of raids, tons of dungeons, tons of zones. But the main incentive to go back and do all that older content is largely cosmetic. Like, you go there to collect mounts, sometimes pets or transmog gear. There's no like power progression in those areas. You can go back and do old raids, but they're not scaled to your level, so you'll just one-shot everything and then get dopamine cucked when the mount you want doesn't drop. And then for older dungeons, there is the time walking system, which is good and it gives you an incentive to go back and adds to the variety of the dungeon pool for the most recent expansion. But time walking on its own is limited. Like, you only get a small pool of dungeons out of the many across. So let's have a look at a couple of examples of times RuneScape has added new content while making an effort to avoid completely killing the older content. The Dragon Hunter Crossbow. The Dragon Hunter Crossbow was released in 2017 with the Chambers of Xeric, RuneScape's first raid. The crossbow was designed to be the best in slot crossbow when fighting dragons, a common enemy in old school RuneScape, which now includes Vorkath, an undead dragon boss released in 2018 that serves as one of the best money-making methods in the game. Prior to the Dragon Hunter crossbow's release, the Armadillo crossbow was the best in slot crossbow in all situations. The Dragon Hunter crossbow has lower stats than the Armadillo crossbow but receives a massive bonus against dragons. This allows it to still fill a valuable niche without killing the Armadillo crossbow and its associated content. Missouri Armor. Missouri Armor was released recently with RuneScape's third raid, the Tombs of Amascut. This armor is the new best in slot ranged armor in RuneScape when upgraded. However, to upgrade the armor to its best in slot form, players must combine the armor with components from the previous best in slot ranged armor, the Armadillo armor. Requiring players to combine the Missouri armor with components from the Armadillo armor means that the boss that drops the Armadillo armor, General Kriara, is still relevant and rewarding content, and Armadillo armor still holds its value. The Infernal Cape was released in 2017 as an upgrade to the previously best in slot melee cape in RuneScape, the Fire Cape. The Infernal Cape is an upgrade on the Fire Cape in every way, but the Fire Cape and the content players complete to acquire it are still very relevant parts of the game today, and there are 2 main reasons for this. These 2 reasons ensure that the Fire Cape and the content to acquire it are still relevant parts of the game today. 2. The Infernal Cape is so difficult to obtain that a lot of players will likely never acquire it. To obtain the Infernal Cape, players have to complete one of the hardest, if not the hardest, solo PvE challenge in the entire game, the Inferno. It requires players to complete 69 waves of enemies before even making it to the final boss, all with only 1 inventory of supplies, and if they mess up at any point and die, they have to start the whole process again. To even attempt the final boss, players have to spend hours beating the earlier waves, and if they die, all that time is gone. So looking at these 3 examples, RuneScape uses side grades in the case of the Dragon Hunter crossbow, direct upgrades but requiring the previous best in slot item as a component in the case of the Missouri armor, and locked by content difficulty as with the Inferno Cape. Blizzard could use similar strategies to increase how long items are relevant to players for while still having power creep. This would increase how attached to their items players are and how rewarding drops would feel. Looking at Classic WoW, many players have noticed that getting best in slot items felt really rewarding because 1, epic items are much rarer in Classic World of Warcraft, and 2, the items would often last the player multiple phases. It would be nice to see Blizzard try and bring that feeling back to modern WoW.